Hello, welcome to this tutorial on Excel pivot tables, filtering and slices. Here I have got three worksheets with raw data. The first one is called mock ISET, the second one is called ops, and third one is called webinar registration. The mock ISET is a mock data that I have created for a mock trial comparing coiling versus clipping. Ops is a logbook, operative logbook, and webinar registration is the data from the registration for a webinar. These are quite large data set. For example, the one for this mock ISAT study, it has got altogether 1,595 rows, so it has got 1,594 data set. So here you have got a treatment of clipping and coiling. They are all basically all in one column, and the outcome for corresponding patient who had the clipping, the outcome is on the outcome column. So what we want to know is that how many patients with clipping had a good outcome and how many patients with clipping had a bad outcome, and how many patients with coiling had good and bad outcome. And since it's about over 1,500, if you are going to count one by one, it's going to take a long time. So what can we do? Well, we can use what's called pivot table. So how we use it? So first of all, you select the data. So I've selected the data. Then you go to insert. You click on pivot table, and we will use the results to appear in this sheet. Good. Okay. So this is where we are going to choose. So the treatment that we want it in the row, it's already there. So this is the user interface for creating a pivot table. So in the pivot table, we want to have the treatment, coiling or clipping, to appear in the row. So what we do is to go to the treatment, and that goes to the row. And what we want to do is that we want to put the outcome in the column. Okay, so you can see here the clipping and coiling is in the row, and good and poor outcome is in the column. Okay, and the next thing that we want to do is we want to have some numbers, and so we want to put the outcomes in the values. And there you go, we have got the numbers. There's something called a blank which doesn't have any data. We'll take that off by going and click on this. That will take it off. Okay, so now we have got the results. We have got clipping with good outcome in 550 of these fictitious cases, in 243 of poor outcome. Total clipping is 793, and coiling good outcome in 611 and poor outcome in 190, and 801 patients had coiling, and altogether we had 1,594 fictitious patients. Pivot table has given us a quick summary of a large set of data. Imagine going through this one by one and counting. Now we will go to the second sheet, which is an operation log. So in this operation log, there's the date of the operation, the hospital the operation was done, the operation, and the patient's age. Okay, so it would be nice to also categorize the patient as either child, adult, or advanced age. So how can we do it? Well, we have to write what we call a formula. So let's put this age group. Okay, and I will take you how I write this formula. So for this cell, I put an equal sign, and then I use the switch function, SWITCH. Okay, then write true, comma, if the cell where the age is less than or equal to 16, less than or equal to 16, then we will call it pediatric. Okay, and if the cell in front, that's back again to this one, is greater than or equal to 75, then we'll call it advanced let's call them veterans. How's that? Veterans. Okay, good. Then all those in between those ages, we will call them adults. And I don't know what other name for the in-betweens. Okay, so let's see whether this works. Let's double check. So we have said this cell is equal to switch true D2, that's the age. If it's less than or equal to 16, then pediatric. If it is greater than or equal to 75, then it's veterans or adults. Okay, let's see whether it works. So that's great. So 43 is adults. So if you want to copy this all the way to the last column, last row, so this data has, if you look at it here, 2010 data points. So what you do is you click here in the formula, and then if you double click here, then it goes and does it for everything. So there you go. Just to double check, someone is here 79, then they are veterans. Okay, let's see whether there's a pediatric one. Let's see, here it's a pediatric one. It says 0 age, so born very soon. So you see, so this way once again you have categorized the age group with us in a second. So next thing what we want to do is, here we want to demonstrate to you what's called filtering. So I'm going to highlight this data set and make it into a table. So I'm pressing on my Mac Shift Command and the down arrow, and that take me to the very bottom of the data set, and then right arrow and it highlights. Then what I want to do is I want to give a name. Let's call it table. How's that? All lowercase table, table. Let's put table 1. Okay, so this is now called a table 1. Okay, and we will also make this into a table. To turn it into a table, you have to press Command T in a Mac, and now this is all turned into a table. And the nice thing about table is that it's easy to then do the what you call filtering, because let's get this. Because you see there's a drop down arrow. Okay, so if I click this drop down arrow, and it gives me all the different hospitals that I have worked at. So let's say if you were to say Wessex Neuro, if you want to take all off and just say Wessex Neurological, then now all the data here will be with Wessex Neurological, you see. Okay, so, and also you can do two, so you can click on Wessex and Royal Liverpool, and once again you will now start to get at the very bottom, I think, the Liverpool ones as well. Okay, so you see, so this is a very quick way of seeing a subset of the data. Okay, and I will if you want to take all those off, then you can take it off like that, or you can also take the filter sign there, we can take that one off. So let's say we want to see all the pediatrics. So what we do is here, once again, click here and just go for the pediatrics. So we say unselect all and go pediatrics, then it's all pediatric. So you see how quickly that you can filter off your data. Okay, so if you want to take the filter, at the moment I've taken all the filter off, but let's say that I have got a filter, and if I want to take it off, then what you do is you click here, and usually there's a cross sign that you can take the filter off. Okay, good. Here, and so advanced filter obviously can do a lot of things, but I will just demonstrate one capability so you understand its power. If you look at this age here, the age ranges widely, and let's say that you want to see the patients whose ages that range from 30 to 45. Yes, you can get the filter and go from 30 to 45, but then you have to first of all deselect all and then click 15. How else can you do it? Well, what you do is that you first of all find what column that you want to base your filter on, patient age, and then you put that exact name on another cell, and then what you put your condition. So what we want is a patient age that is greater or equal to 30 and patient age that's less than or equal to 45. So what we do is that we select just any cell and then click on advanced filter. Then in the range we can put our table 1. Hopefully this works. Let's see. Okay, and that's the whole table. Then for here we just choose this criteria that we have set, and if we click OK, then if you see here all the patients' ages are between 30 and 45. Okay, so this is the feature of the advanced filter. As I said, it can do much more than that, but you can see the power just from this example. So if you want to take the filter off, the advanced filter off, you just have to click here and the advanced filter is off. Now let's look at the third file, the third worksheet, which is the webinar registration worksheet. So this worksheet basically has, let's see how many records. It has got 1027 records relating to neurosurgeons registering for one of the webinars I ran during the COVID period. And if you look at the table, it gives you this timestamp, the seniority, whether someone is a consultant, resident, professor, or fellow, specialty, city, country, and whether they attended previous meetings. So what we can do is, once again, we can use the filtering, but I here want to show you the slicer function. So what we'll do is we will once again select the table. So shift command down arrow, then right arrow, and then I go to insert and I say click on pivot table, and that gives me the pivot table. So now what I'm going to do is to decide what is going to go on the row of my summary table. So if you think about it, this is a registration, and I have these are the fields I have. I'm not so much into the timestamp. Seniority is interesting, but I think most interested in which countries people came from. So let's put the countries here, and so these are all the countries people had come from. Then we want to know what was the count. So once again, we need to put something in the values. The values for the countries. So this gives us all the values for attendance from different countries. Let's say, shall we try to sort it so that we see those countries from which most came, and in a decreasing order. Let's see. So if you click on this, and if we say sort by count of country, then it should, let's say, it doesn't, let's try again, sort by count of country, and we'll say descending order. Let's see. So when we did that, then we can see that there was 158 registrants from India, followed by UK 78, then Saudi Arabia 61, Indonesia 52, Mexico 50, Egypt 47, and Spain 44. Let's see. So you can see the registrations, and it goes all the way down to Australia only 1, and Rwanda 1, and this Bouvet Island 1. So what other information? So we now know from which countries most came. So it's always good to know, because this way you know that you want to capture these people in the future, and you want to increase those who didn't so much attend the webinar. The next thing I want to know maybe is whether what seniority, breakdown of the seniority. So we already got the rows, which is countries, and what we want is seniority, and we want that to go as a column. So what we do is we get the seniority, and we pull it and we put it into the column. So now you can see that we get the data. So in India, of the 158, 64 were consultant, 8 were fellows, and 21 were professors, whereas in the UK, 18 were consultants, 1 was a professor, and the others were trainees. So you see, quickly I can get the breakdown of the data. Another way of doing this is to use what's called the slicer. So if I click on this slicer here, okay, and then what I can do is that decide what are the slices. Use slices are basically like a filter. So if I put a country, and let's say have city as well maybe, and seniority, then if we click on that, then we have got let's put it, sorry, we'll keep the seniority, then we'll have the city, and then we'll have the country. How's that? Okay, good. So what it's going to do is that, let's say that I want to look at let's go and see Canada. I mean, let's have a look at United Kingdom. So if I click on United Kingdom, now I'm only going to get the data for United Kingdom. Okay, all the others have now gone, so it's like a filter. Now what I want to know is it's all the cities it has, so we can now look to see what you, so it is giving us about the fellows, and it will be good to know about the cities that in England the people had come from. So what I can do is that I can make the city as a horizontal one, as a row, so then I get a breakdown. You see, now I'm getting, so United Kingdom, now I'm getting all the cities, and on the cities now I can see, so which city had came. I was working at the time in Birmingham, and you can see that the maximum came from Birmingham, and also there's a large proportion from London. London is a large city as well. And so what else can I do? So I can actually, just to look at the focus on things, I can go to, let's say, Oxford, and have a look at it. So in Oxford, one consultant came or one consultant registered, two registrars or trainees registered. So you see how with the slicer you can very quickly what you call drill down into data. So in this and when you click on that, all the slices are removed. So what you can see here is that you saw the power of the pivot table to give a big picture and then the slider to drill down further. So I hope you have found this useful. I will just say to you that pivot table and slices, particularly pivot table and advanced filters, these are quite tough functions. They are not really difficult in the sense that they are not quantum physics or something like that. But the thing is, unless you do it often and understand the mechanics and remember it, when you come back, you might forget it. So don't worry that if you come back and then you find yourself that you have to kind of start somewhere again and build yourself. But that's what these recordings are for. So I hope that you have found this tutorial that covered pivot table, about filtering and slicers useful. Thank you for your kind attention and wishing you a good day. Bye for now.